All right, Crossroads podcast number 79, round two.
Round two.
Fight. We're gonna duke it out, bro.
Yeah.
You got your cut off. You wearing my shirt?
What?
Copying me, bro?
Nah, dude. This is the original one they gave me in fucking fifth grade.
What? You wore an XL back then too?
Mm-hmm.
That ain't the one you got from fifth grade, right?
I don't even think I ever got like a legit Dare shirt.
Yeah, me neither. But
They've
I
all
wish
been
I had one with the dog on it. Remember the dog?
Yeah, take a bite out of crime.
Yeah, what was his name?
It was something rough, right?
Scruff McGruff.
Yeah, Scruff McGraw, or yeah, Scruff McGruff.
Scruff McGruff, the crime dog.
Yep. Take a bite out of crime.
Dude, I wish I had that shirt.
Yeah, man. There's a bunch of that old stuff that it'll just pop up and I'm like, I completely forgot.
It usually pops up on me when I'm like on drugs. Dare to keep off drugs, and I'm like, no, but when I'd be like on psychedelics, because I would think about my childhood, and like I'd be like, oh, I want to watch some Rocco's Modern Life, or
Yep.
stuff like that. Sometimes, depending on where my mind would go. Ecstasy was like that too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think
I'd be on drugs and I'd be like, remember Dare class? No.
Dare was crazy, dude. Like, I wouldn't have known about a lot of that shit if it wasn't for Dare, which I guess they're trying to make you aware, but it was never like I don't think they really taught you the right shit. I remember
I
though
don't
they
really
brought
remember what they taught.
I think the one thing I do really remember was they brought in like a drug sniffing dog and
I
then
do remember that, yeah.
they had him sniff out some weed. And I was like, dang, there's weed in there. I was like,
You're like, took
give
your
me that.
backpack out.
Yeah.
Shit,
No, no,
busted.
it was like fourth
It was
grade or
like in the
something, fifth
teacher's
grade.
desk, and he's like, shit. Didn't think they were gonna have a drug dog here today.
Dude, yeah.
Um, but yeah, Dare. I found my shirt at Ross.
Same, I think.
Nice. What
Yeah, not a sponsor, right? Of the
I'm
podcast.
not a sponsor. I have a sponsor, but I'm not a sponsor. In fact, that would be hard one day when I have to, if and when I do sponsor somebody for sobriety. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mainly
no,
for alcohol and, other hard drugs. Obviously marijuana is in this weird like gray area where it's like, yeah, it is a problem for some people, but it's just like, I don't know, anything like
yeah.
anything can become a problem for people. Candy.
I mean, I think like yeah, it's to an extent like I I've always thought that like everything should be legal, like as far as drugs go and um
Have you
but I
heard
mean,
about Portland though?
yeah, but I'm just saying like if people just use their heads and be like, okay, obviously something that's like meth or cocaine or heroin or a lot of these pharmaceuticals, or shit that people can just easily die off. It's like, yeah, that stuff should be maybe not illegal, like throw them in prison because these guys are getting fucked up, but like that should be regulated in a different way.
Well, if people had like drug charges like from using, There's a difference between a drug dealer and a drug user. I mean, obviously dealers use, but it's not all of them. And most of the time the users, they just get to such a bad physical and mental health state that they're like, dude, I have no job. I'll rob people. I'll go crazy in the streets. And it's like, man,
Well,
they actually need like help. They don't need to just be locked up. They need like,
yeah, it's like, yeah, if you go, if you do something while you're tweaked out or something, like, yeah, you should be charged for that.
yeah.
You should be charged for burglary or whatever you're doing, but I don't think you should necessarily like go to jail just for having drugs on you or being high. If you're
I
just
guess it
like,
all depends. That's the thing about a controlled substance or a legal substance. Like even like Ritalin, like I have a prescription.
right.
It's a controlled substance, you know,
Hmm.
and but obviously like my lamotrigine for bipolar, that's
Hmm.
not a controlled substance.
Yeah.
So it's weird how it is on just like a scale with the feds.
Well, it pisses me off because it's only those rules only apply to certain people. Those rules don't apply to everybody. Like if you're a billionaire or something and you get pulled over and you're smoking blunts or something, like it's a different thing than if you're some poor person driving around
Well,
in,
for
in some,
sure.
like it's those, I don't know. I mean, that's pretty much like all laws in a way.
Well, money talks, that's for sure. Power, that's, you know, clout, blackmail, when people are like, and seduction, like if you could seduce somebody or you can eh, seduce them just to blackmail them.
Right.
And, that's, it's just kind of the weird, again, this human nature thing of like, what's, what's right, what's wrong, what's good, what's bad. And it really, even with the 12 steps I've been working on, I'm on the fourth step, which is to create a moral inventory of, like people you've hurt or just all these different things. It's pretty thorough what I am going through. It's been a long fourth step, but the moral inventory, as we've been talking about it, it's like, well, morals are different for everybody. And they shift. Like my morals obviously shifted at times where I'm like, well, I would never do that. Or actually, no, 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 I would, depending on situations or try to justify things and just like in this Waco documentary,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, he was sleeping with underage girls and minors, and they're like some of the people in the cult or Branch Davidians, the woman would be like, well, they weren't underage because in our belief system, when you're 12 years old, you're of age. And it's like, uh, in your belief system, that's kind of like this brainwashing kind of like loophole language or something.
Yeah.
Strange.
Um, yeah. It's just the whole thing is crazy, especially in America with the whole like two-party thing, and like people I think both sides are kind of pretty much the same in a lot of ways as far as like the extreme right and the extreme left. They both are like you're evil and my side is right. Um
Oh yeah.
but the I think the extremes on like both sides, it seems like it's getting crazier, like just in the past 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I don't understand a lot of that stuff. I've never really studied it too much or really tried to understand politics and stuff like that, but I've always been interested in Freemasonry.
Mhm.
And so I was recently working at the Law and Justice Center here,
Right.
doing a remodel. And right next door was the Masonic Museum.
Yeah.
I may have been telling you about that place here.
Yeah. We
It's
looked
the
at it on the podcast, I think.
Yeah, it's the Grand Lodge for Montana, I believe.
Yep.
And so on my lunch break, I was like, dude, this is my chance. Go and talk to him, check it out. And so I've been taking the steps to, like, I went to like a little interview meeting with them and filled out my paperwork to
Yeah.
try to get in.
So they're just like showed you the way,
Well, I'm taking the steps. I gotta, go.
apply.
I've applied. I just have to, there's just a few steps you have to take as far as kind of like the interview process and the process of being accepted in. You have to be like voted in and approved. And they have
Right.
to, think that you're ideal or trustworthy type. So,
Yeah.
I hope to get involved. I think it would be, and that's of course what we talk about. Like, how did you hear about it? Why do you want to get involved? Yeah,
National treasure. What's it called?
yeah, National Treasure. Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course I said stuff like that where I was like, well, just when I was like a teenager and the internet came out, then I started to kind of notice things and discover things. And it just kind of sparked my interest through there because of the artwork, really.
Yeah.
And then, like, literally, the all seeing eye, just a triangle with an eye shining. I was like, what is this? It looks important.
It's trippy.
Yeah. It looks powerful.
It is trippy that like that it's just on our money. Like,
And then I noticed that where it's like, oh, wait, you start examining the money.
yeah, like why do we have Egyptian pyramids on American money that has nothing to do with like our our like immigration to this continent or anything like.
Well, and yeah, and so that's the type of stuff I would say to them too, where it's like, I just really want to know more and find more understanding within myself, since, they're like, well, the motto is like when they were showing me around the museum, and like, oh, I'll answer some questions. I'm sure they would answer anybody, like about Freemasonry.
Right.
And when I was like, well, what does it take to get involved? And, kind of what's it about? And they're like, it's about taking a good man, turning him into a better man. So, I obviously want that, especially with making these changes through the years of like sobriety and, mental health, physical health, credit, financial stuff, build businesses. I'm like, these are the people, conspiracy theories aside, all the crazy, you know, horror stories that are out there, aside from all that, which
What
it's fantastic. It's entertaining to hear that stuff. But in my mind, I'm like, well, there's a history to this.
now that you say that, what even are the conspiracies about Freemasons? What
It just ties into the Illuminati type stuff, which people be like, and they would say that at the initial interview, like, well, there are tons of conspiracy theories, sacrificing babies and,
Mhm.
all the evil stuff. People are like, oh, they worship the devil and,
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff like that. Um, or pedophiles and rapists, and even when it comes down to that, it's like it, in as large of an organization, a worldwide fraternity, just like the government or the NBA or NFL or whatever. I'm like, yeah, there's gonna be fucked up people and like whatever. industry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hollywood, yeah, there's gonna be some satanic pedophiles out there too.
Mhm.
There might be a Christian guy over there that's like, I ain't gay, or but he really is. No,
Right.
but yeah, so and that's again what I want to learn from them. I've told them that I could research things on the internet. I'd go through rabbit holes, try to read books, find information on the internet, but I really just wanted to experience it firsthand
Yeah.
and go through the steps. I'm like, dude, I want to ascend or whatever. Be like, yeah, I want to get to this degree and that degree. I want to understand the school of, because a lot of it has to do with ancient, like stuff, ancient, I don't know, knowledge or.
What if it's just nothing though? What if it's just a scam? What if it's
Could
just
be.
club? Like they just like,
I mean, in a sense, it really is.
isn't that everything though?
Yeah, but dude, when I go walking in that museum, I was like, dang, dude, the door handles with the emblems. I'm like, dude, everything in here is like extravagant.
I definitely do think there is something to like architecture and like math and sacred geometry and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
like that's probably why a lot of temples are like that, they're like fucking magnificently built. um so I don't
Yeah.
know, there must be something to that, like because places have like vibes, I feel like,
Well, yeah, and I'll see that all over the place, different places with Masonic emblems of like, oh, they built this or they own this. And they would say obviously it was based on the masonry of like concrete builders,
Yeah.
but also that the square and compass is supposed to represent like squaring, like kind of like your morals and your attitudes, and then the compass is to represent this circle with which you'd like contain yourself in and limit yourself to being like probably like not acting a fool and not saying too much or
Right.
whatever. But I think a
Yeah.
lot of that, there's obviously some things that are probably said to the public more, and then obviously things that it's like you learn about the deeper you get involved, and it's something I've always been interested in. And I told him, I was like, man, I've been trying to get a hold of you guys and get involved. It just seemed like out of reach to me because I don't have any family that's been in Freemasonry. But I want to get involved and then,
Mhm.
hope maybe through generations, maybe I can start the ball rolling. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they also had like uh Meriwether Lewis Masonic apron there.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
they had a bunch of Masonic aprons and like I don't know, like it would be like a badge or pendants from historical people, mainly Montanans.
Hmm.
So I'm just like, dude, oh whoa,
That's pretty cool.
yeah, man.
Yeah, I would love to. I mean, it sounds pretty cool. Like I don't know anything about it that sounds bad or anything. But I don't know, it was like as rational as I try to be, there's always part of me that thinks like, I don't know, man. I feel like whoever's running this shit probably knows some stuff that would not be good if like the public knew it. And I
Yeah,
don't know, especially with the internet, because like I don't know. I was thinking this the other day, but just just the past like 100, 200 years is so like vastly different than how humans have lived for thousands of years, you know. And I just think we know too much, and the
Well, and
whole world
that's
knows it at once together every day.
and that's one thing I brought up to him as well was I was like, as I tried to learn and research things through the internet, there's just too much information. There's
Yeah.
so much that I don't know if it's true or false or so much good and bad that it's like it's just all watered down. And it's like there's so much information that again, like we are talking about, people kind of regurgitating what the next person says, and then it becomes more there's more and more pulp to it. It's like, oh yeah, it's just getting sloshy.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I was thinking about it just like we just know too much, but it's, yeah, it's like that. It's like we know too much, but that at the same time, like we don't know, like if something happens, like we all know that that happens, but then
Mm-hmm.
everybody will talk about it with their different points of view and stuff, and then nobody knows who to believe. Nobody knows who to listen to about
Well,
anything.
yeah, and plus they'll be like MGK cheated on Megan Fox, or like what's her name shit in Johnny Depp's bed. Where it'll be like, all right, yeah, there's a lot of people that will get caught up on celebrity love affairs or something that's happening in like the sports arena, or
I
these
mean,
things, entertaining things, maybe not things that actually truly matter in a scale of society.
I honestly don't blame people, because like it would be different if we had at least one like leader in the world that actually gave a fuck and was like for the people, you know. I don't think it's like everybody is kind of seems like is bought and paid for, you know.
Well, you know who
So
I follow?
the Lord above.
Jesus Christ. I'm a follower.
Hey
I
man,
mean,
yeah, like it's, but still we do have to like function in society.
well, yeah,
So the people
and
who are supposed, they're, we give them the power to make the laws and to to check those laws, you know, and to like, that's why there's checks and balances in different sections of the government. It's not just one government like a king. You know, you got your legislative and your judicial and your whatever what's the third one? Is there a third one?
the
But the whole point
House
of
of
it,
Representatives.
yeah, the whole point of it is that they're supposed to check on each other, you know.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's supposed to hopefully stray from the corruption, because and that's another thing that I would speak to, the whole purpose of support groups for sobriety and stuff, or say set free ministries for me, like surrounding myself by those people, or even say like the brotherhoods, whatever fellowship you're a part of.
yeah,
Like it seems to me like at the end of the day, one of the real ideals behind it is to help keep you in check. Where it's like if I started fucking up and I turned back to the bottle of Jack Daniels and was like, dude, I'm fucking, I don't give a shit. Give me some acid and give me some fucking Molly and some booze. And next thing you know, I'm off the rails, losing my mind.
yeah,
Yeah, but hopefully somebody be like, see me with wanting to buy a case of beer and be like, Jake, what the fuck? You know where this is heading. You know you shouldn't.
yeah,
Because, you know, just a homie to keep me in check. I would hope you would say that to me too if I was like, oh man, I'm back. You're like, oh really? You know you're just gonna have another manic episode eventually.
yeah, yeah, man. um
But you're my
well,
bro. Some of my homies would also be like, fuck yeah, dude. Cheers.
Yeah,
Glad you're back with us now.
right.
Not to say I don't want to hang out with my homies, but some people are hard to hang out with once you start trying to make some changes in your life.
Well, I mean, just to go back to what you're saying about like support groups and stuff. That's why it's so important, like who is around you, who you let into your circle.
The circle of trust.
Yeah, and even just like the circle of I'm gonna let you like affect me and be a part of my life, and because like you don't, I don't know. I mean, you're gonna just like people you work with and people you just meet throughout the day and stuff. Like, I don't know. I have a hard time because I want to be like nice to everybody. I want to be like friends with everybody.
Yeah.
Um, but a lot of people are fucking assholes. So you do learn to just kind of like, you know,
Well, and
you don't,
see, I don't mean to interrupt.
you're good.
Well, and again, that's what I've been learning through the recovery program, and going to therapy, like how to better conduct myself and to deal with people. But
Yeah.
also that's something I hope to learn through Freemasonry, is like, how can I properly conduct myself, and when I'm dealing with people that are pissing me off, or I
Yeah.
don't agree with them, or how do I do this? How do I, behave? How do I, because I've been such a rebel in my life too, at times, that, to backpedal on that and to want to get my act together and, whatever, still be a tattoos, colorful hair, whatever, punk rock.
Yeah.
But to be like, yeah, but I'm like respectful and respected, where it's like, I used to want to be, I've been working on the whole thing of to be loved and admired and desired by people. I wanted that validation and, verification or whatever.
Hmm.
But now it's like, I don't care as much about that as, how happy I would be one day to be like, yeah, we got some establishments in the community, and we have some things we got going on to support, women and children, or have a community center for kids to learn how to skateboard. And I don't need the shine,
Yeah.
you know. It's to set myself to the side a bit.
Well, it's a weird paradox because when you're putting on and you're like faking, trying to get that admiration, when you do get it, it's not real. Like it doesn't feel real. But so when you stop giving a fuck about like what people think and you start doing things like you say, like for yourself and doing things for others, just for the sake of like helping people or helping yourself or just trying to improve life for you and people around you, you will get that praise and admiration and stuff, and like just by,
By becoming better,
yeah, just by becoming better and like just focusing on yourself and doing
and
the right
being
thing.
real. Yeah.
Yeah, and being authentic. Yeah, yeah. Yep.
And that's something I've been working through with my sponsor and stuff, was how at times in my life I wasn't being real with myself or to other people, because maybe I felt ashamed or guilty or didn't want to be who I was, maybe because of mistakes I'd made, or whatever it may be, trying to boast myself up, you know to feel better about myself, which would in turn create an imposter syndrome, even when successes would come. And it's like, yeah, I'm not really that guy. But changing my working on changing my perspective on why I'm doing things, and to make it less about filling the void inside me, and doing that self work to be like, I'm content with myself now. Like, I don't have to feel like, when my therapist would say, when we were working on the shadow, quote unquote, shadow work
Yeah.
about your dark side, I mean, like, look, the more you try to hide your dark side or to shove it away, the bigger the monster's gonna grow and consume you.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I don't know. The coolest people I know are the people that are just like, don't don't give a fuck. Like, it's so hard sometimes, like, I think for some people, just for whatever reason, it's so hard just to not care all the time what the people are thinking about you just right around you. But some people just don't fucking care, which I think that's like, it's infectious.
I mean, it can definitely be healthy and unhealthy. Like, you can be, I don't care. I'm gonna be like, fuck, I'll do the hell
Well,
that I
yeah,
want.
no, for sure. Sometimes I'm like, I'm amazed by it because I'm like, how, like, yeah. But if
But
they're
you could
if they're
also like
cool,
not give a fuck, as in like stand in your ground and be like, dude, this is what I believe is the right thing to do, or whatever. Like, if somebody was like, dude, you should do some of this heroin. And you're like, fuck, I don't give a fuck, I'll do it. Or if you're like, you know what, I don't really care what they think, I'm gonna say no. I
yeah,
dare to say no.
yeah. I mean, that's like,
The secret art, right? It's a secret art. You got to learn how to.
I think that is the secret art, honestly. Like, being able to stand your ground, like, in a respectful way without like getting mad or losing your cool. Because as soon as you start getting mad, your IQ points are going down. So like, you're saving yourself by not getting mad. But like, yeah, just well, just sticking up for yourself, like, or sticking up for someone who can't defend themselves, like, um I tell that to people all the time. I'm like, you should never ever feel bad about sticking up for yourself, even if you have to be like an asshole back, you know.
Well, learning how
May-
to be.
Maybe don't do that, but like, be an asshole in a respectful way. Like, hey, listen, motherfucker, like, that type of shit. Not like you're a piece of shit, but like, you need to listen to me because you're fucking out of bounds, and um
Yeah.
I'm not gonna back down from this because fucking fight me all day on it. I know.
State of mind is a strange thing, as far as the way you can not only like treat other people, but how other people might, like, you could be offended or defensive of something, or and vice versa. Like, somebody, like, I'll tell somebody something at work, like, hey man, like, we got to do it like this, or you missed the spot, or this, whatever.
Yeah,
You missed the spot, yeah.
yeah,
And then they'd be like, oh, you tell me what to do? I'm not good enough for you?
dude.
And I'm like, look, I'm not trying to offend you. I've felt the same exact way before. Like, somebody tell me you missed the spot, I'm like, well, fuck you. I'm gonna miss this. No.
Yeah, it
But
depends on
yeah.
it just depends on how they say it. Yeah, dude, like, I just yesterday, this dude, he's our yard guy, basically drives around on the forklift. um every time he walks up, he's like, why are you doing it like this? Like, he's not a builder or anything, but he just, every single time he'll come up and be like, are you guys making sure you're doing this right? And like, every single, he's not like being an asshole or anything, but he's just an old grumpy guy.
Oh yeah.
Yesterday I was giving him shit for it. I'm like, I swear to God, like, can you, like, is that what they pay you for, just to walk up and complain about everything everybody's doing?
Yeah, and like you say, the way that you conduct yourself or your demeanor or the tone of your voice, like you know, it's like you could come off jokingly and people are like, ah, yeah, yeah. But at this point still like gets across and you'll hear like Bobby Lee say stuff like that on a podcast, like Theo Vaughn say something like, oh yeah, you ever see that movie Yellow Mirror?
Right.
He's like, haha, that's a good one. But you know what? It was your tone
Yeah.
that upset me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's telling us we only got 3 minutes left.
3 minutes. You can do a lot in 3 minutes.
Yeah, man. Let's break it down.
Let's break it down.
All right.
No.
D. What does D stand for?
D stands for do.
Drugs.
Oh, drugs
A.
are
Okay. Keep going.
really
Keep going.
euphoric. No, I'm just kidding.
Excellent.
Drugs are radical.
I think
Excellent.
it's
What does it stand
uh
for?
what is it? The drug awareness rehab education.
Is it
Could be. I don't
drug
know.
awareness rehab
Let's look it up. We got 2
education?
minutes.
No, we got. Oh yeah, we do.
2.5 minutes.
Well, drugs will fuck you up. The thing
Oh,
is,
drug abuse resistance education. Okay.
well, and see, that's what I was gonna say was that drugs kind of get a bad rap because it's the abuse thing. Drugs in themselves
Right.
aren't a bad thing. It's the drug abuse.
Yep.
It's a bad thing because obviously everybody,
It's your relationship with it.
yeah, like we all have had drugs since we were kids. Where it's like, oh, you got the cold, you know, or
Our brains
whatever.
produce drugs.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. People are addicted to hugging people. Like you hug people too much because it feels good.
Oh my god. I'm in yeah, you go to your I'm in hug rehab. I've been hugging too many people. Go to the grocery store, just say, how about a hug?
Yeah.
And they're like, dude, seriously, 6 foot
Yeah.
distance. These
Yeah.
hugs are getting out of control. It's a disease. I
Dude,
just can't stop hugging.
you hear about that new fungal infection just dropped?
No,
Yeah. It's pretty deadly apparently.
there's a fungus among us.
Yeah. It's not funny, dude. It's the plot of The Last of Us.
Is it?
Zombie fungus virus.
Well, let's talk about it in the next segment.
Yeah.
Round 3 will probably be our last round.
Yeah, even if we end it early, I'd rather not get cut off. So yeah, we'll do
For sure.
round trace.
All right.
All right. Adios, amigo.
Adios, amigo.